Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity, and to the believers out there. This is the brother Habadiar from the GMS Toronto camp coming back at you with another one. And this just is going to go into this news article about what happened in Minneapolis. An ICE, woman was shot by an ICE agent. And the people over there in Minneapolis, they're angry. I watched the video. One of the brothers posted in the chat. I'm not gonna play it because it's it's not that as graphic, but you never know at YouTube, But it's easy. It can be easily found, if you put it into your search engine. So says this happened Thursday. No, this happened yesterday, I believe. So the latest, an FBI investigation is underway after the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement ICE officer shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday, so yesterday. Renee Nicole Good, 37, was shot in her car in a residential area of the city. And, when you watch the video, it doesn't really, these officers are saying, that the woman didn't want to stop. Or let me just continue to read. The federal and local officers have vastly different versions of the events. The Trump administration said the woman was shot as she was deliberately trying to run over the agent. But the Minneapolis mayor said that characterization was bullshit. So yeah, based off the video I seen, it didn't show. It just showed the car like stop, and I guess was trying to drive away. I would have to watch it again. I don't know if anyone was in front of it, and then I guess the agent, pulled out pulled out his burner and shot her in the face. Now that's why with these law enforcements, you gotta comply, because you make any type of harsh movement or or action towards something, these people have the license to kill. So, not to say that it was right or wrong, but these ICE agents, they don't play. They pull up, in unmarked vehicles, no license plate. You notice their faces are always covered up, for the most part, and they have the pass to do whatever the hell they want, because those are Trump's little, you know um that's his gang basically, and and as and this is not the first time. This is I don't know if this is the first time that they've been, you know killing people and fucking them up, but this one was this incident was caught on video, and the people ain't happy, so the governor of Minnesota, he ain't happy. He's speaking against Trump. He basically said, that their version of the story is bullshit. And that's causing division. And you're just seeing this pattern within America, that division is being stirred up from within and from outside. We see plenty of brothers are making videos about uh Trump taking over these these oil drums, these oil containers over there in Venezuela. They Trump wants to take over Greenland. He just seized, I think, uh Russian ship or something along that line. So this bully, this whore is doing whatever it is that they want to do, and all it is getting you know people riled up. It's getting people riled up from within America, and what they're doing, out there, in Venezuela, you know, it is getting the other nations, riled up, you know, and it's all setting things up for the downfall of America, which is Babylon the Great. And all this is prophecy. When you see incidents like this, you think of martial, with the shooting, you think of martial law, Jacob's trouble, you know, and then when you see what's going out there in Venezuela, and the way America is just really bullying its way around, you think about Revelation, and these nations hating the whore. So it's just a division. There's division, on every angle when you look at America, and that's because America is getting ready to fall at the end of the day. So this is Second Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in the fear, and the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And this is just happening, with more and more, every single day with these little events that are going on, involving America. You know, um, it's the beginning of sorrows. The people are fed up. People are fed up with these ice agents. These nations are fed up with the way, America has no regard for law. They do whatever it is that they want to do at the end of the day. And it's beautiful. Meanwhile, everyone out there is getting, upset. Um, us as watchmen, we get excited. When I see things like this, when you read them, when you see everything that's going on, you get excited because we're we want to make it to the end. We're trying to endure until the end. We want to be saved. So to see the prophecies just unfolding, and all the videos coming out, and all the you know all the things getting posted in the chat, you sit back and you analyze and you meditate that we're almost there. That the times are speeding up, and it's good because we want to get up out of here. We want to get up out of this wicked age, and be a part of of the kingdom, and be a part of righteousness. So this is Matthew 24 and 7. This precept, everyone's bringing it out, but how could you not? So this is verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. uh, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So this place is being divided. America, that once proud place is being divided from within. You're seeing a lot of videos about ex you know veterans, people that were in the military, saying how they don't support Trump, um A lot of people are fed up with it, and and that's causing that division. That's bringing in that civil unrest. People want to get all these immigrants out of the country. Which is directed toward Jake. Because you're not really seeing this happen too much. Within the other nations. So this is Mark 3 in the GNT. Starting at verse 23. So Yahushua called them to him and spoke to them in parables. How can Satan drive out Satan? If any country divides itself into groups, what fight each other, which fight each other, that country will fall apart. If a family divides itself into groups which fight each other, that family will fall apart. So if Satan's kingdom divides into groups, it cannot last, but it will fall apart and come to an end. So that's what's happening with America. It's being divided. Nations are taking note to what America is all about, and what it's always been about. And that's to conquer. But it's being divided within itself. It's gonna fall. It's gonna crumble from within. It's not gonna be about obviously, yes, the other nations are gonna come and wage war against America and its allies, but even America's allies are within NATO are looking at America like what's going on here. How come you're not you're not a man of your word. And that's why America is that great whore. It's gonna say whatever it is. It's gonna it's got to say. It's gonna do whatever it's got to do to get its way, to please itself. So that's why I'm kind of like going between what happened over there in Minneapolis and what's going on with Venezuela. But it's all about division at the end of the day. You know, and people ain't happy within America. And that's where the civil war is going to start is from within. And when these things happen, then certain laws are going to get passed, certain actions are going to have to be taken, because the problem is happening from within. And this guy, this ICE agent is probably going to get away scot free. Nothing's going to really happen. And that's going to get people. It's going to get people going. That's going to get their. You know, they're going to become angry. They're not gonna trust in this government. They're not gonna, like it says, the roughly paraphrasing, they will not regard, their princes, and the powers that that are in authority. People are just gonna do whatever it is the hell that they want to do, because they're seeing how their government is acting. Here it is, their government is going into countries and just bodying its way in, taking whatever hell it is it's want. So people are gonna be in that same mindset. Well, shit, if Trump can do it, if America can do it, why can't I? Why can't I? Go up into this house and get what I gotta get. Why can't I? See that man on the street, and take him for everything he has. That's a vibration that is going out there, and that's what causes civil war. That type of vibration. Just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want because you can do it, because you have the power to do it. That's that pride of America. Isaiah 19:2, and I will set Egyptian against Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against its neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. You know, this is going to happen, and this is just going to, things like this is just going to increase. The division is just going to increase as more things unfold. You know, as more ICE agents go out there killing people, doing whatever they want, the more Trump is out there just strongholding whatever he wants. You know, we hope he goes into Greenland and takes that shit. We hope he goes into Colombia and overthrows that, because all this is gonna do is make prophecy unfold. All this is gonna do is make the nations hate the whore. All this is gonna do is make people, the American people, um want to you know take matters into their own hands. And then when things like that happens, it pushes martial law. It increases the want for people to it increases the the government to want to push, you know that chip, that ID, in the name of security. So, all these things play into the ultimate goal, which is the mark of the beast. That's what all these events and things are all tunneling into, is that one agenda. This is Matthew 12:25 in the NLT. Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town and family splintered by feuding will fall apart. So that's America. It's a kingdom that is being divided, and it's going to be divided by civil war, and it's going to be destroyed. It's going down. Its time of rulership is fastly coming to an end. Its time of running the world and and getting away with all their wickedness is coming to an end. Yahweh Shai is gonna come back and take out this whore. It's gonna judge that place. Because they have made the whole world, drink of that wine. Closing precept is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people mourn, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So people are mourning right now. They don't like what's going on. They don't like the fact. And these idiots are the ones that, you know, wanted Trump in power. Now that he's in power, they want him out. They're not happy. They're not happy with the way he's doing. And some people are. Some people are happy with what Trump's doing. See a lot of videos of people, even people over there in Venezuela. They're praising Trump for getting that man out. You know, not really understanding what is to come. Not understanding the time of Jacob's trouble, that is gonna be front center, that everyone is gonna have to go through. But they'll understand this. It would all make sense when Yahweh Shai comes back and takes over this world and sets it up in righteousness. Then the people will rejoice. Then they'll understand what righteousness is all about. They'll understand the power in the name of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. But right now, We're in a time of mourning. We're in a time of great death. We're in a time of great judgment. We're in the time of prophecy. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see, and it just charges you up, and inspires you to just keep pushing forward. Don't give up, because we're almost at the end. We're almost there. So that's gonna do it for this video. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekach Kodash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, and peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Until the next one, Shalom.